Have you ever thought about the sound that you'd make if you got stabbed by a green-skinned creature? It'd probably be something along the lines of Ork. Welcome to Boards and Swords. I'm Chris Renshaw, and I'm back with another Warhammer video. These videos could take a while, mainly because making them means I'm not working on painting my army. That's the big kicker here. So now we're going to be looking at week 2 of the Escalation League that I've been doing. Once again, I'll be playing Grey Knights, my opponent playing Orks. However, after the terrifying and terrible disaster that was last time's battle, I did some work and some effort to try and beef up my army. So now, not only do I have the Brother Captain and Strike Squad like I had last time, but I went and picked up a squad of Terminators that I used in this battle. And I'm playing against the Orks. The mission that we'll be doing is called Boarding Action. I'll throw it up here on the screen. But I've got 2 deployment zones in the start, and he's got an area in the back that he's trying to defend. That's going to be basically, in the video, you'll see there's basically one cathedral in the middle. That's basically the outlined area of the target zone. I'm trying to get guys in there. He's trying to keep my dudes out. So with that, let's see how it went. All right, so let's get this party started. As of course, I spend a nice long time thinking about where I'm actually going to place my minis. Now, fortunately, I had actually done some pre-thinking and looked up how orcs play and saw that it was kind of a mob, and I saw all these figures that he's got here that he's bringing out and that he's playing out. And I thought, I was like, well, I think my best bet is to use the limited amount of guns I have and kind of focus fire and thin the herd, as it will. So up here in the corner, you can see I've placed a couple units. I've got the Brother Captain, I've got the Strike Squad, and then the Terminators come in. And I've kind of got an idea of what I'm going to do, but you can already tell I've messed up. And that is, I had in my head I was going to send this Strike Squad away so they can move without using their teleport, probably thinking over at the second objective point that's way over here. But here I am, and I've put them head first, and I've got the Terminators behind them, but I need to move the Terminators, and I can't move them to do the plan that I want. So you'll see here, I have to kind of move the Terminators around the Strike Squad, and then oh yeah, we should probably bring the Warlord up here too. So yeah, that already off to good job, Chris. Already off to a great start. So now that we've actually getting into play and I've moved my units up, it's time to gate those Strike Squad. But I failed the roll. And what about command reroll, you might say? Yeah, I forgot that was a thing. But it ended up working out because when it came to shooting phase, I managed to pick one of the units over here by the nice, D20, and I obliterated him to the point that by the time we got to the end of round 1, they got completely decimated. And when he rolled, there was 1 unit left, and when it got to the morale, he failed his morale, and boom, that guy is gone. So yay, 1 unit off the boards. Scored points for me. I'm already doing 10 times better than I was before. I mean, last Chris would be I'm just gonna separate my units all over the place and start heading towards points and not using my psychic phase the right way. And sometimes it pays to actually think with your brain. All right, well, now we're going to get to his turn. And it turns out he has a teleport as well. So he moves his units all the way over here in the back, thinking he's going to try and distract me and split my forces. And then this jet flies around, and this jet's going to be a problem the entire game. Also, he moves his other unit here up the side to try and get an early lead on that point. Fortunately, this time, I know the rules, and I'm able actually to use my invuln saves to save my group, and with just a couple of lucky rolls. Yay me. But I guess fortune favors the bold. No, that's the wrong word. Stupid? No. Fortune favors the lucky is probably the best way to put it. And I managed to not take much damage from the jet, and all of his units are still too far out of range to hit me at this point, giving me right now a good advantage. So we move on to round 2. And now it's time for my guys to move up, and let's grab this point here. So I've decided to keep the leader with the Terminators because the leader is a Terminator, basically. So he's got very similar units and statistics as those, so I figure it's kind of better to kind of lump them together and make them into a pretty sweet fighting force. So they march forward towards the point and attempt to capture it at the end of the round. Meanwhile, Gate of Infinity does go off, and oh, look at that. This spot over here just happens to be 9 inches away from all of these units back here in this corner, and it puts them out of limelight from A, the jet, and B, his other units, which have no range for that, putting me in just perfect position to start shooting behind the point and get that and start taking out towards the Warlord. Unfortunately, in 40K, there's a rule called Look Out, Sir, where you can't shoot a character if it's got enough of its units around. However, we misinterpreted the rules, and it's supposed to be if there's at least one character that's closer than the actual unit. With his units all behind over here, I should have been able to just straight up attack the Warlord, but we didn't realize that specific point of the rule. So instead, I'm going to pull out the dice and just start trying to take out that group of orcs behind the Warlord so I can take out the Warlord. All right, one thing you can't see from this angle, but there's actually my units left. There's like 1 or 2 units right underneath this terrain here. And again, actually learning from previous games, I've left them alive because now the Terminators have a chance to attempt a charge and get in there and do some melee fighting. And the die roll just happens to work. However, the Strike Squad does not make the die roll for the charge, so they're going to stay back behind the terrain still. And now this is when the Terminators come in. This is, oh man. This is the moment that I realized that I love Terminators, because I got to use their Nemesis weapons, and they just rip through things in melee. It was so pretty. I loved it so much. Going to his turn, he's now going to bring up. He's going to bring up those units he teleported over, since I didn't take the bait that he was hoping. This is like when we were talking after the game. He was like, I was hoping you'd make the new person move and split your forces, but clearly. In fact, I'm probably sure the only reason I didn't is because I've played enough RPGs and to know you don't split the party. That's probably the only reason I didn't do that. Like, if I was fresh to gaming, I probably would have done that. Meanwhile, he's also, so the jet's flown around to try and get sight on the Terminators and the Strike Squad over here, and he's managed to move this unit on the side and the Warlord to get up in the Terminator's face to try and take them out in melee. This whole time, my Warlord is still sitting on the point back here, just trying to make sure he captures it at the end of this round. Which, of course, means he's going to get attacked by the jet. But he stays standing! So now the Orks are going to charge and pile in over here in the bottom with the Terminators, who you no longer can see. And you can see some of his figures start to disappear. That's because the Terminators, while they're getting a little bit whittled down. The Orks, however, cannot stand them nasty nemesis weapons. You would say they are the Nemesi? I don't know. All right, round 3, back to me. And now that I've gotten the point, we're going to move the Warlord kind of up into the fray, because we need more people in this area, the better. but the Terminators are locked in combat. Now, normally I might be like, the jet is kind of dangerous because it's got so many freaking weapons, but it's also got a lot of wounds, and I'm kind of scared of it and kind of scared of my being able to hit it. So I'm just actually ignoring it for right now, which I think ended up helping me out here. So sadly, because the Terminators are engaged here down at the bottom, and because they're engaged, they're throwing a bachelor party. That's what's going on. You get engaged, you have a bachelor party, and this warlord's like, whoa, man, I wasn't invited to the bachelor party, so I'm going to be cool and, not mess with them while they're in the middle of their bachelor party. However, these dudes, they look like they're about to mess with my bros while they're having that bachelor party, so I'm gonna take them out. So he's going to line up his shots and, take out a few of those orcs back there. And then we get to the fun part, the melee, and the Terminators finally finish off the warlord. Oh, wait, it's not over? Nope, that's not the point of this. This is all about controlling them points. So, what does he do? Obviously, those boys are going to come in because the engagement party's over. So, because it got broken up. So now they're going to come in and try and take all the fun, see what all the booze is left over. And this is where things get a little nasty because now the rolls are not necessarily in my favor, and the units start getting whittled down. Terminators do hang on, though, but we do manage to get whittled down to just about 2 units left, I believe. It's hard to tell under this angle, but if I remember right, it was like 2 units left. So now all we got left is that big freaking jet. The jet is all that's left. We've got 3 units. So just to recap, we've still got the warlord in here. We've got 1 to 2 Terminator units, and then we've got this pile of 3 on the strike squad. All he's got left is the jet, which has only been hit with a couple of psychic attacks to knock off one or a couple of wounds. However, we're in turn 4, and his jet has to move. So my guys don't put up enough fight to actually hurt or to completely destroy the jet. So he has 1 turn, basically, to try and kill as many people as possible to try and score some points. And fortunately, the rolls just happen to go the right way, and 1 dude survives. 1 dude survives, and then we move to round 5, and the jet ends up having to fly away. Or at the end of round 4, the jet ends up having to fly away. So the next time he gets to attack, the jet will be too far away to attack. And so we don't even really need to play round 5 because I've got enough people left here to hold the point and thus sealing the victory. I come out the winner. All right, so now that I've come off the high that is that winning, what did I learn from this battle? This is something that got suggested to me. What did I learn from this battle? I think the 2 biggest things I learned from this battle were, A, know your army. And that is, like, I spent some time actually reading the codex and finding out some abilities. And I still haven't 100% got this down because I'm still learning stratagems and stuff for this. But it's a dub, but it's amazing how just a little bit of reading changed knowing when I can and can't do things. The second biggest thing being knowing what's the best units for that environment, and that is having the Terminators in there to where they can continuously move forward and still get those bolter things. That's encompassed in the knowing the army, is knowing how to best utilize said army. But the other big thing is not splitting the party was the biggest kind of, I already knew this, but it's kind of like the biggest takeaway from this, and that at this small unit count, it would have been easy, especially the way my deployment zones were set up, for me to split up the army and kind of go two-pronged. But when dealing with a huge mob like this, I feel like the focus fire kind of whittling down of everything is really what helped me kind of turn the tide there, not get distracted by everything else that's shooting me. So that was kind of that's kind of like the biggest takeaways from there. But what did you catch? What did I miss? What could I have done better? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe, because every like and subscribe on this video or from this video is one less orc that didn't get killed in this case, I guess. Anyways, thanks y'all for watching, and we will see you next time.